Alright, so before we get our build going, I'm going to take a little bit of time and kind of walk you guys through how this machine works. I'm going to preface this by saying, at the end of the day, I'm really just the sales guy. Our machine operator knows this thing inside and out. So I'm going to probably end up giving you a little bit of potential bro science here, because I'm not sure I have all my exact facts and figures, but I'm going to at least give you a basic walkthrough of the machine, and hopefully I can get everything right here. So please don't crucify me in the comments. Alright, so we have our printer, and it's made up of three basic elements here. So we have this array of lights here in the cover, as well as a thermal camera. Essentially that heats the build chamber and specifically heats each layer of nylon as it's laid down to maintain the correct temperature, which is like basically a little bit below where the nylon just starts to melt, because you want to get that nylon really hot, so when you put the fusing agent on it and then hit it with some other lights that we'll talk about in a minute, it cures and snaps and melts and binds together and essentially fuses that layer, and it fuses to the layer below it. So essentially heater, that's the best way to think about this. Then in the back we have a roller. This essentially picks up fresh material from either side of the build platform in these pockets right here. So these flippers come up and there's just a mound of powder right here, and that roller moves across and it spreads a fresh layer 3/1000 thick of nylon onto this build platform. Now obviously as we build, this platform drops. So every time we spread a layer, fuse it, this platform drops 3/1000. Spread a layer, fuse it, drops 3/1000. So this guy here just moves back and forth and spreads the material. Tuck him back there. Alright, I'm going to pull the actual print head and light out so we can look underneath of it. So we'll do that right now. Alright, so this is the printing head and the fusing head. This is where the magic really happens with the MJF process. So let's actually pop this door open here a second. And we'll go underneath and take a look. So normally our build bucket goes into this area right here. Right now it's pulled out. And if we get underneath here, hey, look at that. So we got two big lights under here. So, and then you also have a bunch of print heads in these three clusters right there. So essentially, as this thing rolls across the fresh 3/1000 layer of nylon, it's squirting out a bunch of fusing agent, which is actually what locks the nylon together when it gets hit with those bright lights, and fuses it together, and detailing agent, which we put around the outside. And the detailing agent does exactly what you think it does. It helps make sharp corners, round holes. It really keeps a lot of resolution in the parts. So there's two additional consumables beyond just nylon powder. There's the fusing agent and the detailing agent. But when this is all done, you're just left with sintered nylon. The detailing agent, the fusing agent actually is what gives the parts their like black base color too. So this guy moves over here, moves over there, back and forth and back and forth as the build progresses. You also have literally a big old roll of paper towel down here, and every time the build head finishes and moves back over here, this rubber squeegee pops up and presses this paper onto the bottom of the build unit, and wipes it essentially, so that I believe that's so you don't get buildups on the underside of fusing and detailing agent on all those nozzles, which I think would cause build issues. So I think that's everything. That's kind of the basic operations of how an MJF machine functions at a very basic level. So yeah, so let's get this build cart loaded in and get it going. Okay, so now we're going to insert the build bucket into the machine. This is going to be a little bit tricky one-handed, but we're going to give it a shot. Alright, so now we got to give her the heave-ho here. You'll actually see it rise up once we get it in there. There we go. Locked and loaded. Ready to print. Alright, so shut this door. And close the top. And you can hear we're getting close to launch. Okay, so we are ready to start the build. So we've already sent the build over to the printer via the software on my computer back in the office. So you can see there is our build, and we can kind of take a look, make sure it's sort of what we expected to see. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, so now we just hit the print magic button here. Oh, rookie mistake. Forgot to arm the printer. Alright, so the printer is armed and initializing, and once this is done, the print will begin.